I think one of the key insights of our study can be spotted, at least we've done this with respect to two of our infographics on page 17. So page 17 of your report. So the first insight is that only 14.5% of the South African surveys reported that the people actually govern in the country, while, as we've said already, around 48% believe that it's the president, with another 15.8% believing that foreign and local powers are at play. The reason we've put these two infographics together is that juxtaposed upon this finding is the fact that 75.9% of the respondents, so more than 3/4, believe that their votes count. Only 24.1% don't feel that way. So this to us is actually extremely interesting, because what it says is, in the face of feeling excluded from governance in the country, citizens assert their recognition that their votes do matter. They're prepared to deploy these votes strategically, either by withholding their vote, as we've seen, and abstaining from the proceedings, or by voting for other parties than those usually supported. So to our minds, this demonstrates a remarkable embodiment of agency on the part of voters, and confirms that we have a deepening maturation of voter behavior in the country. I think a lot of the time South African citizens are not given enough credit. Okay, so what we've seen in these elections is definitely some sort of strategic deployment of the vote. So, you know, if we consider the context of a single party rule during apartheid, followed by one party exercising power since the advent of a democracy, it's understandable that the jury remains out on coalitional government in South Africa, as I think has been pointed out by the team. As yet, this is an unknown variable in our democracy. And I think it's an exciting time precisely because of that, because parties, organizations with radically different ideologies, potentially, have to come together towards the middle ground to try and find common ground. People have to have checks and balances and make compromises in order to get somewhere. And I think that this is something that South Africans are not quite familiar with or comfortable with yet, and this is exciting territory for us to start to chart. So the people have aired their views on what is required to restore health to governance in the country. As a single cluster, as we've mentioned already, service delivery stands out. 20.5% of the respondents indicated this in its own right, followed by economic development at 10.8% and administration at a mere 6.1%. An overwhelming 58.5% stated that all areas, or all of these clusters, need attention. Notably, when we ask a similar question, and I'm not sure that this was actually touched on specifically as a finding, but when we ask which areas of governance are key for accountability and transparency, obviously two critical aspects of governance, 6.9% chose administration, so pretty low again, so compared to the 6.1% in its related question. 20% chose economic development, and 27.1% chose service delivery, with 45.7% selecting all clusters. So we can see that this is a trend that repeats itself. So if we had to look at this in terms of ascending order, admin followed by economic development coming up the ladder to service delivery, with a call for general improvement rather across all clusters. So it's obvious that as much as talk revolves around economic development, it's service delivery that remains uppermost on people's minds. In short, we found that people continue to support the party in power because of loyalty, although this loyalty appears to be dwindling even more than when we started out in 2015, followed by a genuine belief in their capacity to govern, a reliance on grants, an effective tie between giving up hope along with fear and intimidation, followed by a lack of information and a lack of attractive alternatives. Our respondents also shared that they would adapt their voting behavior if, and this is in descending order, if another party arose that better suited their needs, if they reached a tipping point, couldn't take it anymore in terms of bad governance, if more information was available on government or on their rights, or finally, if competitors produced evidence of better governance. Moving forward, there appears to be marginally more happiness, so more smiley faces, and somewhat less unhappiness post the local government elections of 2016. But how will those who govern respond? Will they embrace a multi-party democracy and embrace cooperation and collegiality, enabling those from parties other than their own to govern? Or will they spoil, gatekeep and obstruct, making constituencies ungovernable? One would hope for the former, but perhaps be prudent to prepare for the latter.